Now joining me on the phone, Andy Card, of course the Chief of Staff for then President George W. Bush, on the phone. Andy, let me just ask you your thoughts at first.
Well, first of all, this is a great night for the American people, and it's also quite significant. We owe a great debt of gratitude to the intelligence community and the military forces that made this happen. They've been working at this for a very, very, very long time, and it was not easy, and they did it. I also really praised the resolve that President Bush had and also the resolve that President Obama demonstrated. So this is a night for America to come together. We also have to be very vigilant because bad things are still likely to happen around the world, and there are bad people who want to do those bad things. So I would say stay on your toes, but celebrate tonight.
You spent a lot of hours with President Bush in the hours after 9/11. What do you think it means for him? We read the statement, but what do you think it means for him tonight and looking forward?
Well, he wanted to close the book on Osama bin Laden and bring justice in honor and memory of those who were victims of the attack on September 11th. And Osama bin Laden has been brought to justice, and I'm sure President Bush is very, very happy about that. He worked hard every single day to keep America safe, and he worked very hard to try to find Osama bin Laden. One of the great frustrations of his presidency was he didn't get Osama bin Laden on his watch, but he made sure that everything was in place so that President Obama could have an opportunity to get Osama bin Laden, and it finally happened. So we're very grateful.
You heard President Obama mention President Bush in his speech. He also called him directly, as well as President Clinton. Significant to you?
It is. I'm really grateful that President Obama did call President Bush. It was a good courtesy, but I think that it was also a reflection that President Bush did give the country resolve to follow through on the promises that had been made to the victims of September 11th and their families. And we said that we would bring Osama bin Laden to justice, and America has done that.
And last thing, do you feel the dynamic has changed with Al-Qaeda? You look at Al-Qaeda as an organization. How much do you think this means to that organization, cutting off the head of this snake that has franchised now around the world and around the globe?
Osama bin Laden, you know, not only was he the leader of Al-Qaeda network for terror, he was also the symbolic leader of, I'm going to say, Islamist fundamentalists that were looking to do damage to the world. And so,
Andy, let me interrupt you for a second. Let me interrupt you. We have a shot on the screen of you whispering into the president's ear on 9/11.
It was an unbelievable message that I had to deliver to the president, who certainly did not expect to ever hear that message delivered. I simply said, a second plane hit the second tower. America is under attack. And there's not a doubt in my mind that the president that day reflected on the oath of office he took to protect America. So I think
from that moment, from that whisper to this night.
Well, this is a little bit of closure. And I remember President Bush telling Mrs. Howard that he would never forget George Howard, who died on September 11th. And he was a firefighter, and that was on September 10th, 2001, when the president visited New York City, and he met with the families of the victims of some of the firefighters and police officers that were missing down at the World Trade Center. And Mrs. Howard gave the president her son's badge, and she said, "Don't ever forget him. His name is George Howard." And President Bush said, "You know, America may start to forget, but don't worry about me. I will never, ever forget." And he didn't. And the resolve that President Bush showed, I think, helped to strengthen the resolve that President Obama has shown. And I'm grateful that he followed through and that we now have Osama bin Laden brought to justice.
Andy Card, former Chief of Staff to George W. Bush. Andy, thank you very much for your thoughts and reflections.
Thank you, Bret. Good to talk to you.
We're looking live again. Now for some congressional reaction, we bring in Maryland Democratic Congressman Dutch Ruppersberger, who is a ranking member of the House Select Committee on Intelligence. Congressman, thank you very much for your time.
Well, it's just a great day for the United States and for all those families who lost their loved ones and all the men and women who've been out there fighting to protect us. This is a good day for those families.
Well, tell me about being briefed and how it exactly happened and what the process was.
It was just a phone call from Leon Panetta advising us of the news, and the president was going to announce it shortly.
What's your thought on the intelligence community, the significance of this? You're on the intelligence committee. The significance of this this kill.
Well, this is a significant kill. If you want to kill a snake, you cut its head off. Osama bin Laden was clearly the psychological head of Al-Qaeda. And I think more importantly, though, is that it shows to the other leaders, Al-Qaeda leaders and other terrorists that are attempting to attack our country, that we have it together and that we will eventually find you and we will take you out if you're going to attack our country. This is going to have a tremendous morale boost for all of our counterterrorism specialists, our military, and I think for the rest of the world. We have still a lot more to do. I know I was in about a week and a half ago. Chairman Rogers, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, and I were in Yemen, and we have some serious issues in Yemen. But our men and women whose job it is to fight terrorism have really, using the resources, have really pulled together that we're going to be more effective as we move forward to protect our country from terrorists.
Congressman, obviously this is a bipartisan win. The president mentioned President Bush, and it changes the dynamic. What is your thought about the relationship with Pakistan and what we'll learn about what they knew about this this location of this compound and that bin Laden may have been there for some time?
I think we have to improve. I think Pakistan needs to improve their relationship with us. You know, we need Pakistan's help to continue to go after the terrorists that are affecting not only our country and the threat to our country, but the entire Middle East. So I think we need to they need to go a lot further with us to help us take out the Al-Qaeda and the terrorists that are really affecting all of these countries.
Maryland Democratic Congressman Dutch Ruppersberger, thank you very much.
Okay,
Ranking
good.
member of the House Select Committee on Intelligence, thank you. Let's